Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crypto News Podcast. We are buzzing as always, and I'm super pumped to have today's guest on the show. We've been trying to get this lad on the show for a hot minute. We finally got him on, and this is a nice little intersection of Web 2 and Web 3 with a business that has done over $5 billion in sales and has saved customers upwards of $250 million. Today, we have George Bousis on the show today, serial entrepreneur and angel investor that is at the forefront of payments, loyalty, and blockchain industries. He's the founder and CEO and chairman of Raise, the world's leading platform for digital gift cards. And like I said, achieved over $5 billion in sales and saved customers upwards of $250 million. You name it, they've done it. The spirit of innovation has attracted significant backing for Raise, helping the company secure over $225 million, wowza, from leading institutions like Excel, PayPal, and Mia. Outside the boardroom, George's passion for startups is evident. He's invested in over 85 companies and has co-founded Protagonist. Beyond business, he enjoys gaming, music, real estate, and traveling, and also has the sickest jersey that you can see on the wall. MJ23 game-worn jersey that is electric. He has also been nominated for Goldman Sachs Most Intriguing Entrepreneurs Award, a spot on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list, and recognition as a Crains 20 in their 20s standout. Also does some philanthropy, giving back to Northwestern Hospital's Hippocratic Cancer Research Foundation, and is a member of YPO's Chicago chapter. Also has some of the best hair in Web3 that is electric. Throw, if he was a hockey player and you put a bucket on that head, that lettuce would be absolutely electric. Super pumped to have you on. George, welcome to the show, my friend. How you doing this morning?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Pumped to have you on, man.
Pretty long little intro there.
It's usually a good thing though, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Good long intro means you've done a bunch of shit. Let's jump right into it here. But before we get into all the Web3 crypto stuff, gift cards is something that is so cool. I'm always been a big gift card guy. Whenever there's a hack for a gift card, I'll do it. And I'll start off with one. I'm a big Amex guy. I feel like everyone loves Amex, one of the best customer support platforms out there. In Canada, we have something called the Amex Cobalt. It gives you 5x points on all groceries and food. It's just an easy way to stack points. Whenever I'm getting gifts for someone, if it's unfortunately, maybe a little thoughtless gift with a gift card, I'll go over to the grocery store, buy him a gift card. I get 5x points on that gift card. There's so many ways to really move and groove in the gift card industry. And you guys have literally, you guys are the leaders in this. I'd love if you could literally bring us back all the way to first base, talk about how you got into the game and how you grew this company to an absolute friggin' behemoth.
For sure. I feel like I gotta go way back now. I think we're always just really fascinated by the gift card space. Like, it's this industry that not a lot of people talk about or are familiar with, but everyone kind of knows about in one way or another. But I don't think folks really understand the breadth of the industry, and not just how much it's grown over the last 15 years specifically, but kind of where it's headed and the growth that's to come. Just around kind of all the new products and all the new things in this space. But, we think that these are all huge opportunities in the future of why the space is only going to continue accelerating and getting way bigger. But I'll take you back in the journey. So I got into crypto, specifically in Bitcoin, in 2011, and was fascinated about the whole space and about what it was, what it stood for. And I was a pro gamer back when gaming wasn't cool, and was a huge nerd.
George, you were a pro gamer. Okay, hold on. We got to do a quick touch on this. What games?
You got to go back to it. But I played a game called Counter-Strike professionally for like all the big teams, and was like that typical dork. Which today I'd probably be a celebrity. But I still do game and have fun with all the old men now. Our reflexes and everything are very different. But, it's not a good way to catch up with friends and all the homies back in the day. So yeah, I got into it. And that's kind of when I stumbled across the gift card industry as well. I was working for my family in the grocery business, and I thought gift cards was an awesome means to driving more loyalty, because you're basically guaranteeing that people are going to spend money with your business at some point in the future. If they don't, there's something called breakage that you can monetize on. And so I went to my dad, who's like this old school Greek. I, was trying to convince him that we should add not only our own gift card, but gift card racks in the stores. And he's like, shut the hell up, go back to stacking groceries. Like, this is stupid. You just gotta work and all. And I was just like, holy shit, I cannot work for my dad. There's no way this is gonna happen. But I just started doing more research on the space, and I realized how fragmented, but how big the industry was. And I started building the company out of my apartment with people I was recruiting on Craigslist, which probably wasn't that safe in hindsight, looking back, but it's kind of classic startup
Pretty. I
bootstrap
love it.
business. And, we went from 700K in our first year in my apartment to 20 million in year 2 to 100 million in year 3. And it was kind of classic lightning in a bottle, got really lucky, found product market fit because we were addressing a really big problem. And I think that's really what product comes down to. It's like, what is the problem that you're solving for and how does value accrue to the customer? And so at the time, we wanted to build a marketplace or an exchange where people like you or me or anybody watching this podcast could buy or sell gift cards, which address the tens of billions of dollars of cards they want to spend every year. And that business just worked really quickly. But as awesome as the success was, I think the other thing that it really underscored were all of the issues that the gift card industry faced around all the bad shit you hear in the news, right? Money laundering and fraud and sex trafficking and all these negative things that a lot of folks really shied away from, but that I really saw as an opportunity. And that's when the kind of light bulb went off in my head. And this is like late 2014 and 15. And like credit to the team as well, who were a big part of this. But we're like, can't blockchains be used to solve a lot of these things? Ultimately around authenticity, tracking cards and getting rid of fraud and just solving a lot of the technical limitations that existed. And so, we took a stab at Bitcoin and obviously realized it was impossible to do anything there. And then stumbled across this thing called Ethereum. And it was super interesting because the whole notion of smart contracts, I think, opened up a whole new opportunity in the space that we thought was a massive untapped market. And so the whole thing around programmability meant that you could program digital money to do anything. And so eventually we had ideas like if it rained or snowed in Chicago, that AMC theaters can offer 50% discounts to the movies because we knew that there was a correlation between shitty weather and people that don't want to go to the movies. And so we became fascinated with this whole thing around like, what about for like scores or events or outcomes? Like anything could essentially be used to program a gift card or promotion to do anything. And that kind of was happening async to the whole kind of evolution of digital gift cards that kind of came to market in that time. And this is where we saw like a huge explosion in the gift card space. And when there was a huge steep acceleration of adoption to digital gift cards, the second one being COVID, which we'll fast forward to. So we became fascinated with this. We started building early on. We wrote a white paper around digital gift cards being a segue to building programmable currencies and how we can build our own network and how it solved all these technical limitations. And keep in mind, like this is 2015, 2016, right? So nobody understood what a blockchain was. So imagine trying to explain to like your VCs or people what you're trying to build. They looked at us like we were nuts. Like it was a deer in headlights. And so we kind of stayed the course, but we realized there were two huge issues. The one is that TPS was a problem. If we wanted to tokenize the gift card industry. And two, because of gas fees, it degraded any economical benefit that the brand would have had by tokenizing these gift cards. And so it's kind of the classic timing is everything and you need the technology to catch up with the times. And that's really what we had to do. So, there's two issues that happened. One, we had to shelve this to now focus on partnering directly with the retailers because ultimately they had much bigger budgets and you need the brands to participate in the network in order for this to succeed. And two, because ETH over the years was going parabolic, all of our original engineers that we had retired because they made so much fucking money that, we had guys that made tens of millions of dollars, over the years. And so it was insane. I mean, I wish in hindsight I knew better because we were sending thousands of ETH to all of our employees and everyone else. God knows where all that's at. There's a bunch of Bitcoin somewhere there and all that. But it was a really big lesson for us. But, the big thing that happened is just fast forward and kind of bring it home. We started working with the retailers. Today, we have about 2,000 brands that we work directly with that we're fully integrated with and really lucky to have them as partners. We've kind of kickstarted this crypto initiative over the last couple of years again, because I think finally the markets kind of pulled forward and the technology's caught up where TPS and costs are no longer issues. And then the third thing that's happened is that digital gift cards have completely exploded after COVID. And now they're the majority of gift card volume. If you didn't realize how big the space was, there will almost be $1 trillion of gift cards that will be activated this year. Right?
That's insane.
And so when you think of industries, I don't know many industries that are as big or bigger than the gift card space, but what's even more interesting is that the industry is growing 10 to 15% a year. And so a lot of industry experts are expecting the gift card industry to reach somewhere between $2.5 and $3 trillion by 2030. And so
that's bananas.
That's what gets me excited and why I think the opportunity is bigger than ever. Because again, the same problems we had in 2015 in terms of the gift card space are the same issues that we have today in 2014 going into 2024, going into 2025, 10 years later. And so because there's a lack of standardization, because there's fragmentation, because there's a lack of technology and innovation in the general industry, nobody's actually solved this problem. And I think we have the best opportunity here to really create something really big here that addresses the elephant in the room. And, we have a bunch of the support from a bunch of the brands. And, this is kind of what we've dedicated and bet the farm on, right? Like every dollar of profit the business generates funds all this stuff. We've already spent tens of millions of dollars on this initiative. I think we'll end up committing 9 figures over the next 5 to 10 years on this.
Jesus.
And so it is we're betting the house on this. We're all in. And, we're just really pumped to kind of show everyone what we've been working on for a while here.
I love that. What an electric story to kick off the pod. George, before we get into a lot of the really cool crypto initiatives that you guys are, moving and grooving on to really make Raise more efficient and just the whole sort of gift card industry as a whole, you brought up a couple of times in that great opening spiel about the issues and problems and sort of the how you guys sort of found that solution to product market fit. I want to say this was 3-4 years ago. I read an article that Starbucks, every single year, Starbucks alone has something like, and again, I'm pulling this number out of my ass, but I do believe it was in the 9 figures. It was like 500 million in unused gift cards every single year. Now, when you buy that gift card from Starbucks, like they're still getting the money. It's just a matter of, is the consumer spending it or not? Like people aren't cognizant of how many billions, if not trillions of dollars a year of unspent gift cards just go unused. Like it's absolutely friggin' wild.
So what the little joke that we have is Starbucks is a bank that sells coffee. And, it's true because I think they have actually like 2.5 billion of gift cards right now that are unused.
That's insane.
And so you can think of in a high interest rate environment like we're in today, how much money that they're making annually just on unused gift cards. And, Starbucks is kind of seen as the de facto leader and innovator in their space. Like to their credit, they've really been the one to push the space forward, focusing on like app integrations and all that. But there's still so many limitations. And I think we're still only scratching the surface in terms of what the real potential there is. And, when you think of Starbucks' program, what's amazing is the Starbucks card, people don't realize, is a gift card that powers the entire Starbucks program.
Yep.
And over 50% of Starbucks' sales are via the Starbucks gift card, which is a Starbucks card that's used on their app. And so they are, I think, the pinnacle of understanding that loyalty and gift cards are the same thing. And ultimately, if I can sell money to someone that is going to spend it in the future, and I can own that share of wallet, and I can get the data associated with that kind of customer spending, what coffees they drink, how often they go, what stores that they visit.
That's powerful.
Super powerful, right? And I think we're only beginning to understand of what the real potential there is. And, it's one of those things that we're fascinated by. And I think all of the brands today want that Starbucks-like experience.
Yeah.
But the issue is this. Consumers don't want more apps to more retailers, and they certainly don't want 100 different programs to manage across 100 different apps that have 100 different types of, promotions or offers or experiences. And so this is where we think like Raise plays a really critical role in this whole thing, because we've aggregated all of these brands into one really seamless experience where we've built this cashback ecosystem that you no longer have to wait weeks, months, or quarters to get your cashback that you've earned, like the likes of a Rakuten or Honey, which have built amazing businesses. But the cool thing about the gift card space is that you can push the cash back instantly to the consumer's wallet when they earn. So the cool thing on the Raise app is whether you're going on Uber or booking a cruise with Carnival or buying, some pizza at Domino's, you earn cash back on every single thing that you buy instantly. So let's just use the Uber example. If you come on the Raise app and you spend $200 at Uber, because you're going to pre-fund your kind of Uber rides for the next, couple months or whatever, you may get 10% back on that Uber ride, which now you have $20 back. The cool thing about the Raise platform is because that cash sits in your wallet as Raise cash, you can use that synonymously across any retailer in our network. And, so you can now take the $20 at Uber and get a free pizza at Domino's, right? Or a free burrito at Chipotle, or order food on DoorDash, or pump gas, whatever that may be. So that's been the big innovation, and which why we think all the value will accrue to this app that we've built, which is which now the retailers are selling their currencies directly to consumers, because really the power of wallets and the power of these currencies is really where I think the future is headed. And on the flip side, the cool thing is that we accept not only fiat in the form of credit or debit, but we've actually just quietly launched crypto payments. Yeah. And what's really cool about this is that you can now use Solana to pay for an Uber ride. You can use ETH to book an Airbnb, or you can use Bitcoin, whatever, to go to Lowe's and get some stuff for the house. So I think that's what's really cool. It's like this huge unlock that you're taking trillions of dollars of value now in the crypto industry and making that spendable and creating a real utility out of the currency, which I think is what crypto was meant for from the very beginning.
100%. And that's one of the biggest issues about crypto, right? It's like, once you have it, how do you offboard it? It's an absolute friggin' pain in the ass. And this just makes the offboarding super easy. And again, you need the onboarding too, which you guys have done. What does the future of Raise and the gift card industry look like in regards to crypto? You guys have these, and this is a great time to plug the partnerships with Wallet Connect and Polkadot. But what is that sort of, because, so many companies are always talking about forward-looking statements and this incredible future where crypto is more efficient than fiat and so on and so forth. But it's tough to sort of see and feel. I'd love if you could give us like an explainer, or at least paint that picture of what that might look like going onto the Raise app, seeing your wallet, with the Wallet Connect and then the Polkadot integrations. I'm sure you guys are going to be integrating with thousands of crypto companies over the next, 5-10 years. Like, what does the future of the sort of gift card loyalty program mixed in with crypto look like?
So I'll give you kind of a couple different examples. So we're really rethinking the entire industry. And if you can see all the issues that exist today that we've covered, if we could rebuild the entire industry from the ground up, it would look very different than what it does today. And I don't think anyone's been ambitious enough or has been willing to take enough risk to do that. And so, this is a conversation we've had with tons of retailers, and something that we're kind of full steam ahead of doing is we're rebuilding everything from the ground up. And if you look at the industry, you have issuers, processors, distributors, activators, issuing banks, plastic makers. There's so many parties and intermediaries that exist between the brand and the consumer that are charging their piece. And so we call them rent seekers, because everyone wants a piece of the pie, because it is so big and they're making so much money. And like, credit to them, they built these amazing businesses. But at the same time, I think the future looks very different, where the important thing here is how do we build and how do we help brands build a stronger relationship with their customers without having to go through all the rent seekers in order to monetize that consumer. And so we think the most important thing here is that relationship between the brand and the consumer. And we believe that Web3 technologies enable that to exist. And so you've seen all these companies popping up with like identity authentication, verification, and attribution and data and whatnot. And we talk to many of these companies on the fund side. And I think these are all really critical components of making that real. And this is where I think like Web3 wallets play a really important role in this as well, because that's ultimately how you capture ownership of the customer. And so we've created something called smart cards, which are essentially tokenized programmable gift cards. We've created a wallet SDK, which essentially is a wallet that will store these cards that now allow the brands to have a relationship with the customer. So whether it's messaging, whether it's promotions,
huge.
Let's say we go to you go to a Yankees game yesterday, and now the brand can communicate with you, whether it be concessions or the team store or whatever, Fanatics or whoever's doing their jerseys. They hit a home run, a promotion pops up in your phone that says, get 20% off a concession now that the Yankees hit a home run.
It seems like, sorry to interrupt, seems like such a no-brainer. Like, why, especially with sports, like musicians, like there's so many more touch points that you can have that they just like drop the ball on. It's wild.
It's a technology issue, right? In terms of standardization of systems. Right. Like, don't forget, these are legacy 10, 20, 30. I mean, these things are older than both of us, right? Yeah. And so a long time coming, they're looking for answers. The big problem here is that the technical limitations are not only pushing the customer further apart and further away from the brand, but it's drastically increasing the price of doing business. And who ultimately pays the bill? The consumer. Yeah. Because what ends up happening is CAC costs are through the roof when you look at privacy and the war happening between Google and Apple and antitrust and everything. You have all these people that sit between the brand and the consumer that want to charge their fee. And the brands haven't had anybody that's been ambitious enough to want to solve this issue kind of head first. And so that's really where I think we've really shined and where the real opportunity is here. I mean, I think we're kind of ready and prepared and understand that this is not going to be a 6 or 12 month journey. And I think that goes back to like how will value accrue to the most valuable businesses in the world. They're the ones that think long term and that have really big, ambitious visions, but are able to take that really big vision and break it up into really small pieces and continue to push the ball up the field to execute. And so we've taken this really big, broad vision of where we want to be 10, 20, 50 years from now and kind of broken it down to 2-week sprints of what it's going to take to be successful and what milestones we need to meet in order to kind of get there. And that's really transformed our business and how we operate in a big way, because I think everyone inherently wants to be part of something really big. That goes for your customers, but more importantly, our employees, because, again, there's been no great business that's ever been built by one person. It's a team of people that come together behind a common goal that want to execute on this. And like, we have just some wonderful people that are, have not only just been here for a long time, but others that have recently joined us that are really behind this thing. But every couple weeks that everyone sees that we're winning, and winning can be defined in sure revenue, it can be defined in partnerships, it can be defined in a bunch of different ways, but we're continuing to win. And that's what gets us excited about the future and this opportunity. It's because it's very real and it's in front of us and it's working. And, I think we're on our way. I think we're going to solve a lot of these things. A lot of the brands are have been overwhelmingly supportive. I just got back from the RGCA last week, which is a Retail Gift Card Association meeting that was in San Diego. And there's a bunch of lovely people there that really understood, I think, for the first time, what we were building and where we were going and why this is such a critical piece of the overall solution here.
I love that. Man, you guys are building in 2-week sprints, eh?
I mean, I kind of look at it every day. We almost have to micromanage it, not because folks aren't doing their work, but because it's such a big, ambitious goal that we have. And there's such a huge opportunity ahead that it's not a matter of like when it's going to happen. I think it's really like who is going to actually do this.
Yeah.
And so it would be a tragedy if it wasn't us, given the fact that, I think we were the first ones in the world to be thinking of this stuff in 2014 and 2015. And, again, that you can look up patents online of the amazing folks that we've had that have worked on these with me. They deserve all the credit. And it's just, it's really cool to see this thing kind of come into life and that the technology's finally caught up. But, I think when you ask me, like, what are the things that are going to be the most valuable in the future? I think when I look at crypto, like I kind of take my entrepreneur hat off and put my investor hat on with the Protagonist, on the Protagonist side. And I think really value is going to be created by the businesses that leverage kind of crypto and blockchain technologies in the background and look and feel and act like Web2 businesses, but then have Web3 backends. And, in my mind, like, look, the mother of two shopping at Walmart does not give a shit what blockchain we're on
100%.
or what we're built with.
It's got to be quick. It's got to be easy. It's got to be the
quick?
same shit
Does
as
it
she's
deliver
always done.
value?
Exactly.
Does she get what she's looking for? You know, that is what it comes down to. And so I think this whole rise of these Web 2.5 like businesses is real. It's what gets us really excited around the whole RWE narrative. You know, these companies think in years and in decades. They don't think in terms of cycles or TGEs or hype and, you know, low float, high FDV, BS kind of types of things that may feel good, but there's no liquidity. I think for us, you know, it's slow and steady, wins the race. And, you know, I want the people that ultimately buy into this vision with us to make money with us and be part of something that feels and looks much bigger than, you know, anything else that's out there.
I love that. George, you're on a roll, mate, but we do need to take a quick break and give a huge shout out to our sponsor of the show. When we get back, we're going to keep buzzing on Raise and, of course, Protagonist, and we are going to get right into that. George and his team has an incredible VC arm, and they've been moving and grooving there as well. Until then, huge shout out to Prime XBT, longtime friends of the Crypto News pod, and of course, CryptoNews.com. We love these guys as they offer a robust trading system for both beginners and professional traders. It doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a vet, you can easily design and customize your layouts and widgets to best fit your trading style. Prime XBT is also running an exclusive promo for listeners of the Crypto News pod. Use the promo code CryptoNews50, that is CryptoNews50, all one word, to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. Again, that is CryptoNews50, all one word, to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. And now back to the show with George. Let's jump into the VC arm here. This seems like so cool. And again, one of the things I love that you guys are doing, you and I sort of discussed this before the show. You're not some business prof. My apologies if we have any business profs listening to the show, or a traditional VC who, you know, had the vision of being a VC, did their 4 years at Stanford, Harvard, Yale, whatever, and then jumped into a VC firm, started as an analyst, worked their way up, and now they get to make a bunch of really cool investments, but they never really built a business. You have built a 9/10 figure business, an absolute behemoth. You know what the hell needs to happen in order to, you know, get some return on your investment, to get some ROI. But you can talk about blockchain. I know you guys are in the space as well. What areas of investing really get you going at the moment? And of course, plug any really cool investments you guys have going too.
Look, my whole thing is kudos to the people that go to Ivy League schools and have made it there and have sacrificed a lot to get there and graduate. I think it's an amazing thing, but I frankly don't give a shit what people go to school at. I care about the impact that they want to make and what they bring to the table. And I like people that think differently, that don't just follow the instruction manual of life. I think it's important to be ambitious and think different. And, you know, we, for a long time, punished people that thought differently because they didn't fit that mold. I think, you know, entrepreneurs and builders and, you know, engineers are the rock stars of today and will continue to be the rock stars of tomorrow as they build the future and really try to solve a lot of these things. And that's who we gotta kind of give a lot of the credit to. But, you know, when I think of Protagonist and what we're doing, really comes down to our ethos, which is why we named the firm Protagonist, because it's not about us. It's about the entrepreneurs, about the team, and about their story. And they're ultimately the heroes. And, you know, we like to kind of be in the background and help. And, you know, I tell everyone, like, we don't need to have a vested interest or be an investor to help a founder. Like, we're happy to speak to anyone just to be resourceful and be helpful in an effort to pay it forward. And I think that's important because that's what creates an ecosystem and a culture around, like, people that are really kind of gathered around one common goal and common purpose. And so, you know, we're not VCs. And I say that as someone that has a VC-like fund, but we operate the fund much more kind of akin to a business. And, you know, we invest by ways of entrepreneurship, not because we're some institutional guys. And we really look at this as a partnership. And, you know, having gone through ups and downs with investors and VCs and seeing the ugly side of VC, but there's a lot of great that comes with it. We've been very blessed, and I'm very fortunate to have really great partners along the way too. And, you know, even the ones that weren't so great, we're happy that at least they were part of the journey because, you know, they did take risk with us and they did take a chance. But at the same time, like, I can't stress the importance of partnership. And unlike marriage or relationships where there's breakups or divorce, when someone's an investor, there's no such thing, right? You're kind of stuck at the hip. So you have to kind of figure it out and work it out no matter what. And it's very rare that you have a real kind of exit plan of an investor if the relationship's severed. And so I think it's really important for us to have that trust and build a relationship with the founder, with the teams, and have a lot of value. And, we're really excited about a lot of things that we're seeing in the space. So, there's three of us partners. My other partner, George, founded a business called Honey, which, he had a extraordinary exit and outcome for him and his team when they sold to PayPal for several $billions. He's an amazing guy, is probably one of the most humble people I know, is brilliant. But like, to be able to get someone like George on a call who's so excited to roll up his sleeves and talk to founders and build the future and gets geeked out about it, like really cool, because he's like zero ego. And that's why we kind of built this. And then the same thing with my partner, Harry, who built an amazing, fascinating business called Pipe. We all think and act the same way, and we have the same values, which is why I think we're so much chemistry. And it's rooted in like not being selfish and working with other people. And so we're all kind of keen on different things or learning about different subjects. I think that's kind of the entrepreneur in us, where it's like high ADD, wanting to learn different things, and probably not hireable, which is why we've probably never lasted working for big companies, as George can probably attest, for PayPal. But again, like I'm still very bullish on a lot of things in crypto. I think the underlying value of what blockchains really can do and what they mean, I think is what I'm most interested in. Like everything from like AI, data, RWA, everything from TradeFi to real estate, tokenized assets. Like there's so many places that we can go with this. I think what I'm less interested in is memes and all that. And I get that that's part of culture, and I definitely have an appreciation for what it means. And people inherently like to gamble. I think it just takes advantage of the people that are most vulnerable, which is why I don't
100%.
like the space and why I've never bought into the hype. And it's probably cost me a lot of money over the years, but there's plenty of money to be made in other ways. And so I think for me, that's probably what I'm most like short on over the long run in terms of this actually becoming a real thing, because we need legitimate founders building legitimate companies that solve these issues for the tide to continue to rise, which, lifts all the other ships and in the industry and brings more money into the space and more value that will accrue. And so, we really look for those founders. I focus a lot more of my time around fintech and crypto tangential businesses. George and Harry look at a lot of like AI, infrastructure, hardware. I guess in a way we're all trying to look at the future, and, no one really has a crystal ball, but I think as technologists, we have a general idea of where things are headed, whether it be, how you're using AI to robotics to all this stuff. And it's one of those moments where, as a founder, you can't just think of the present of chasing the next kind of hype cycle thing, because for every, few success stories, there's thousands. You're already seeing it in AI as the bubble's starting to burst with some of these companies. Value will accrue to the ones that have been thinking about this stuff for the last 5 or 10 years, not for the last 5 or 10 months. And so we're constantly trying to think of like, what does the world look like in the future? Who's thinking differently? Who's ambitious? Where should we be focusing more of our attention? Like we're looking at some of these chip businesses, energy, the grid. Like these are all things that we need to solve for if technology will continue to scale. So, we just try to read a lot, try to meet a lot of people that are way smarter than us, a lot of young people that don't have that bias or things that, haven't read this instruction manual and haven't worried about promotions or working, being on the corporate hamster wheel for the last 30 years. They look, act, and are different. That's kind of who we are and why we want to back them.
Man, you're getting me fired up here, George. You're lighting a fire under my ass. Also love how humble you are, and I'm sure the team's just like it. Look, I know we're getting a little tight for time here. A couple more questions. This is just a personal question here. Obviously, you guys have, your sort of not in-app currency, but your in-app reward system. I feel like there's a reason why you haven't, but are there any plans to launch a coin down the road with Raise?
Plans, yes. Can't talk about it yet.
Gotcha.
There's a lot that's going to be coming in the coming weeks, and so maybe we do a follow up on this and can give you a little bit of a overview of what's happening. But it's not just related to Raise; it's much bigger than that. Gotcha. And I think the way we think of how we're going to solve this problem, like we've said from the top, and so it takes us thinking more than just about Raise. We have to rethink of the whole industry. So there's a lot that we're doing there that, we should follow up on, because there's a lot that we're looking forward to sharing.
Okay, you got promise me you'll hit me up, because I want to break that story. Again, when I'm doing research for the show, I'm like, man, these guys, Coin just seems so right. They got the massive user base, they got the partners, the ecosystem, the community. Like it's ready, ready for lightning to strike. But again, I know you and the team are moving.
I mean, look, the perfect meal, it takes all the different recipes, right? And I think for us,
exactly.
it's not a, overnight success for us has been 10 plus years. It hasn't been some overnight thing. And, I think we've really stuck it out through thick and thin, and, really just stay true to what we've believed in. But it takes the relationships, the retailers, it takes the distribution, it takes having the reputation. It certainly takes the team.
Yeah.
And you look at the Raise app today, 6 million customers, 1.2 million actives. We have 80 million customers in our network. We power things like Citibank Shop Your Way and a bunch of these other programs. You asked about the crypto wallets. I know we didn't get a chance to touch on some of that, but we're now starting to power a lot of the crypto wallets natively, where Polkadot has announced this, but there's going to be a bunch of other announcements with dozens of other ones that we're integrating with right now, where you'll be able to swap any native token within a wallet natively into a gift card. It will be delivered into that wallet. You'll be able to use it in store, in app, or online. And so, whether you're in Polkadot's wallet and using DOT or Tether or whatever, token they support, you can swap in real time for, DoorDash and order food natively directly to the wallet without having to leave that ecosystem. And I think it's important for two things. One, and most importantly, it delivers a great experience and real value for the consumer. And two, it, from an economic standpoint, is really beneficial to the wallets to monetize this, as they've struggled with swaps and the low fees and kind of race to zero in that game. And so I think it's a critical solution to bringing kind of trillions of dollars of currency into the ecosystem. And something we're excited on. The Wallet Connect thing has been a great on-ramp in the Raise app. Jess and her team have been awesome partners. We made that announcement a few weeks ago. And we think it's still early days. Like, they have a really cool product. They're building something awesome. I think it's opening up a whole new vertical and opportunity in the space as kind of an on-ramp, off-ramp. And, I think they're kind of building what is kind of akin to the Plaid of crypto. And so we love those businesses. We're obsessed with infrastructure, and very bullish in general in the category.
I love that, man. Again, just your guys' token, like the biggest thing with token, the biggest issue 9 times out of 10 is utility. And everyone throws the utility word around. Yeah, it's cliche, it's trendy, it's sexy, but like, people launch tokens and there's nothing to do with it. It's strictly watch the chart. Does it go up? Does it go down? Like, the amount of utility you guys already have with a token is just absurd. I absolutely love that.
Longevity is the big thing there, right? And the ones that have real longevity and the ones that have stuck around are the ones that have created, again, value, have revenue, have real users, have utility, have a strong developer community, have a great community behind them. Like, it takes all these different things in order for the perfect ecosystem to be built. And there's been a lot of folks that have nailed that and continue to do well. But again, as you think of why a token has value, you ultimately need to solve for what does it do and what is its purpose. And so I think there's very easy things when you look at a lot of the things that we've discussed in terms of the narratives, where one would understand where value accrues to a token and how the utility of that token will ultimately be worth a lot of money in the future.
Yeah, well said. Last thing on my end, again, another selfish personal question, the domain, electric domain. How much did you guys buy that for back in the day? If you could tell me.
What's your guess?
When did you buy it?
2013.
200K?
So I'm pretty good at negotiating. I learned this skill from my dad in the grocery business, where you got to buy things in the market every day. And, you learn this from a young age, but I bought it for 40 grand.
Come on.
And so $40,000. It's worth millions.
4 million?
Yeah, likely, maybe even more, right? Correctly spelled domain. You have a lot of people, as you think of like Raise and then the hits it gets on Google, right? Alone, in terms of just the word Raise is huge. But I think even more importantly, like the domain, not to get into something else philosophically, but like your name needs to stand for something. And I think for us, for Raise, it's all about making your money worth more everywhere you go and creating this uplifting, positive experience around saving money. Because again, like saving money has this kind of negative thing if people don't want to be penny pinching or use coupons and don't want to be seen. Like you wouldn't really want to use a coupon on it or a Groupon on a date, but you'd use a gift card, right? And like, it's just, I always thought about myself, like how I like, would I really want people out and like taking a chick out? But, I think for us, it's like, we have a real opportunity to flip the script and change the narrative and make people feel really good about using this. And so when we went to look for the domain, it was really important that like the ethos of the brand and what we stood for and the product that we wanted to create, and like credit to one of our early investors, at Listen Ventures, that were like all about brand and really helped guide this and push us. But like it needs to mean so much more. And so I always push founders, like, what does your brand stand for? Where do you want to be? One day, if you look at the city and it's on top of a building, what would it mean to people that are there? Does it inspire trust? What does that do? And so, that's what we focus on. And I'll leave you with that on the brand.
I love that. You're a sick puppy, George. 40K for Raise. Guy gets 100 bagger just on the domain alone.
I was just going to, maybe we would have made more money just being that industry. But no,
I love it. George, what an episode, man. This was an absolute blast. Really appreciate you coming on, and can't wait to have you on for round 2, hopefully sooner rather than later, for some big news popping off. Before you let us go today, can you please let us know where listeners can find you personally, and of course, Raise and Protagonist online and on socials?
Yeah, if you just on my Twitter or X or Instagram is @Bousis, you'll see the links for Raise and for Protagonist on there. We're on Telegram, X, kind of all over the place. So
love it. George, thanks again, man. Really appreciate it. Absolute pleasure. Can't wait for the next one.
Anytime. Thanks, man.
Folks, what an episode with George Bousis, CEO of Raise. We touched a little bit of everything: blockchain innovation in the gift card industry and the future of customer loyalty programs. This was an absolute electric factory of an episode. Huge shout out to George and the team for making this happen. If you guys enjoyed this one, I hope you did. Please do subscribe. It would mean the world to my team and I. Speaking to the team, love you guys so much. Thank you for everything, especially you, Stas. You are the man. And back to the listeners, keep on growing those bags. Keep on staying healthy, wealthy, and happy. Go touch some grass. Let's get after it. Love you guys. Thanks as always for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Ciao.